Alright, hopefully it should exist sometime soon, and hopefully people can hear me, so let me know if that's the case. Alright, hopefully... Look at how gorgeous Emir is. This was kind of by accident. I think it just randomly decides who it's going to use for the start of it, like the starting screen. So it seems to have loaded Emir from the character pool at random and then just put him in this thing, hiding behind a rock with no shirt, which is pretty excellent. So one thing you guys can do, if you're able to hear me, is tell me how I sound relative to the audio from the game, if it is good or bad. I'm not sure what kind of delay there might be, so we'll see. Alright, I'm gonna ping people in the channel and let them know that we're kind of going. But I'm not going to start it properly until 7 in case anybody's being incredibly pedantic and wanted to come in like right at 7 and is like, man, I missed hot Emir on not shirt action and is upset. So, let me do that. Boop, boop, boop. The volume is perfect. Wow, that's the first time I've ever done anything right in my life. One thing that I have noticed is, and this is probably just me being stupid, and maybe somebody knows, so they can ping me if they do, is the audio from the game cuts out anytime I go to another window. And I'm not sure how to fix that. Right now I figure we're just going to deal with it, but whatever. You guys will have to put up with only my voice if I'm going in a different channel, so I'm going to try and my best to focus on you know, the chats at the same time. But if I ignore you, it's probably because I don't like you. And if I don't like you, it's probably because you're objectively a bad person. So probably you should atone for that, I think. Okay, so we still got 5 minutes until we go. So that's not really enough time to finish admiring Emir, but feel free to do it. There's 3 people here. Let me know how much delay there is by, I guess, saying the word rutabaga in the chat. Okay, so there's a little bit of a delay. And Status Friend does not know how to spell rutabaga, or what a rutabaga is. It's like a vegetable. Or maybe, yeah, it's like a root vegetable. I know precious little about rutabagas, probably. Like, I don't know, I'm not really to put on a rutabaga clinic. But, you know, I'm here to entertain. I'm not here to enlighten. But don't expect me to do a good job of entertaining, because I'm, you know, objectively a bad person. I mean, if you Google your incredibly bad spelling of rutabaga, it's more than likely that it's going to correct you and then show you a picture of a rutabaga. Like, I don't know, it's the year 2017. I think this is a surmountable problem for somebody. That will be a spoiler. This is what I call entertaining. No, we haven't started yet. That implies I'm going to be more entertaining once we've started, which is a lie. But I'm not obligated to be entertaining at all yet. I do. Thank you, Hades. Might be because I'm playing in full screen. How would I... Yeah. It's probably that. But I'll take a look at it after the stream and figure out how to make it fixed, because I'm not overly concerned about it. Ideally, I should be able to switch out of this window and talk to you guys in the chat without having any kind of, any kind of issues with the audio cutting out. But it's not like, if I'm not playing the game, it's not like the audio from the game is going to be giving you anything important, so I'm not terribly concerned about it. I'll just take a look. Yeah, Fraggle is the first person here. She is the first follower, so she is the foremost authority on complaining. She has the right to all complaints, for sure. Which I guess would cover complaints lodged at you guys about complaining. So even meta complaint is under her purview. Cool, I'd appreciate that, Luke. And yeah, if you guys want to run interference for me in the chats, that would be good, because I'm imagining, I'm stupid, and failing at this game is going to occupy most of the, most of what what limited cognitive capacity I have. What is it like to be that unoriginal, where there were 21 other people with that name? All right, we are creeping up on 7 o'clock, so I think I'm going to say we should get started. So hi, anybody who's come out to see this, I really appreciate it. That's pretty cool of you. So this is a stream of XCOM 2 War of the Chosen. I'm using some people from the Politics and War game that I know, most people from my alliance, that I've loaded into the character pool, and I'm going to be adding a couple more as we go along. I probably have about half of what I would need for like a full roster, so as I go I can add those in. So yeah, I'm pretty excited for this. This is gonna be played on the second highest difficulty, and I am not good enough to win, probably. So everyone I've made into a character is gonna die miserably, and I think that's fun. It's true. This stream was more popular before it started. It went from 7 to 5. But I will be recording all of the episodes and kicking them back for anybody who wants to catch up, because especially some of the members of my own alliance, I think, are all over the world, so there was really no time to really, have everybody here. So that's good. Okay, so the first thing I really wanted to do of any substance is kind of look at this character pool and see some of the people I've loaded into the game. I think that's good place to start. So the very first person I have loaded in is Luke's character, and as you can see, he is a handsome man. Let me see if I can just... Yeah, I can give him a nice turn. He's got his wolf tattoo, he's got his plaid, he's got his guile haircut, he's got his incredibly awful looking goatee, and I'm happy with, one of the things I'm most happy with about Luke's character is that he's the first one I made, and I realized you can put glasses and goggles on the same person, which is incredibly dumb. So I did it. So that's Luke. And I should show, let me see if I can get the bio up there. Yeah. I envy no man, I envy you having me to envy. Which, I forget what that's a reference to. It might be an episode of The Critic. So, for those of you who are familiar with shows from like 20 years ago, that one's for you. Okay, next we have my character. Now, the amusing thing about this character is, when I was going through, I was just kind of like picking things arbitrarily that looked sort of good to me a little bit. And then I finished, and I looked at the character, and I'm like, wait a second, this is just Rob Zombie. So apparently my own personal style is just copying Rob Zombie and not even being aware of it. Because this is pretty much exactly what Rob Zombie looks like. Yeah, most of the people I've loaded in so far are people from my own alliance, and I figure other people I'm going to load in as I go, because it's going to have enough people for me to start the first couple missions with the ones I've loaded into it, and then I can add in anybody else after the fact. Because the creation of characters does take a little bit, so I wanted to do a little bit of that up front. Okay, so here we have Katie. Her request was to be extra purple. I'd never join this disgusting alliance. You're a bad person because you say bad things. Okay? So there's Katie. I gave her a sword because that makes a hell of a lot of sense. She also has a blood all over her face because she requested that she look like a hobo. And that was about the best I could do. I figured as far as hobo haircuts go, dreads are good because dreads are pretty filthy. So, there's a vaguely human garbage pile that you can call Katie. Insult your followers. Smart. Well, I mean, who else? Like, what else am I gonna do? It's kind of part of my shtick at this point. I think everybody will be disappointed if I didn't insult them. It'll be weird. Yeah, she requested to be Swedish, so I made that. I was trying to go out of my way to not make people American, just for some diversity. It doesn't really matter at all in game, but I mean, like, who wants to see 6,000 of the same flag, aside from people that are American, which is probably everybody. So, you know, just another way I'm going out of my way to alienate my alliance. So here's Lady Meth. I gave her this face mask, which looks like it's from Reboot to me, so I'm pretty happy with how that looks. I'm pretty sure the mask takes on the color of her armor, so I'm happy with the creepy looking red eyes. Next we have W. I guessed that his spirit animal would be a black man with an afro, so that's what I went with. I also gave him no clothes for no reason that I can remember. So there's his butt. Unfortunately, I can't zoom it right now, but if somebody reminds me, I will zoom right into that ass. And it just, yeah, it looks pretty flat, but, you know, maybe you can get him in an action shot or something. Because I want this stream to be the stream with the most ass. Then we have Rook. I'd given the picture of him earlier. He looks depressed, which I think is appropriate. Yeah, I mean, obviously. Obviously got to zoom into the ass. I can't, though. In-game, I think I can. I'll figure that out. Here's Partisan's character. I made Partisan a character, but I also put him into the VIP character pool. So technically, instead of a soldier on our squad, he'll be somebody that we're supposed to go and kill. Rook is a serious, depressive asshole. Do you mean the character or the person? In either case, yes. And then we have Printer. I tried to make Printer look as sinister as possible. As soon as I realized they had a like a Terminator 2 head, I kind of went from there with that. Printer is going to be a little bit tricky because he's the one of two characters that I won't actually have at the start of the game. It's not possible to have these spark units that kind of come in later. So I'll have to build him over the course of the campaign, assuming I get that far, which is probably not going to happen because I'm awful at everything. Here's my attempt to make something look punk rock. Tim said it was a pretty good job, but I think she was just humoring me. But one thing I'm definitely happy about is the weird, distended, conjoined, happy face over her crotch area. I did that automatically. I kind of wish I'd come up with that, because that's pretty perfect. And then she's also got her, you know, Mad Max helmet. Then we have Emir, I was using as a tease earlier. Just nothing but buff. Just the buffest. Just the buffest. Maybe I can get him. Yeah, you can see that round ass. That's right there. That's what we want to see. And I gave him the largest weaponry possible just because it seemed amusing to have a guy who has no armor whatsoever going out of his way to carry gigantic weapons. And when I turn him like this, you can see his arm detaching. So, yeah, that's not good. Okay. And then we have Critters, who is the only person who looks sort of like a person. So shame on him for being seen with the rest of us creeps. This game has nice customization. Yeah, I tried my best with the stuff that I had. I think I have a pack that's like an add-on that added some new stuff, so I'm not sure what's actually in the base game and what came from that. I was pushing myself to try and make people look as distinct as I can. He said, make me extra American, didn't he? He actually didn't. I just made him like that on purpose because Critters is kind of the odd man out in not being weird like everybody else, so I kind of decided to turn that up to 11 and have that be his gimmick. Then I added Zebras because I thought the idea of a character that looked like a bee was amusing. So she's one of the only people who's in the squad who's not in COS currently, but I'll add some more later. And this again, I wanted to go with the double goggles thing, because it's just like, why would you do that? And then I added in Purple Moon, and this is the second character who wouldn't come in till later because she's from the expansion, and I have to get to a certain point in the game before she'll show up. But this character class is like so purple that I just decided to make it Purple Moon. If I'd thought of making it Katie because she wanted to be purple too, I probably would have done that, but then I didn't. And then also, we'd have to wait an extra, like, maybe 2 or 3 streams before it's even possible for Katie to die, which I thought would lose me a good chunk of my audience. Okay, so with that, I think we're mostly good to start. So I'm going to do that. And we're back to Emir, now wearing a shirt, which is excellent. Okay, so we're going on Commander difficulty, and I'm going to leave subtitles on. That all looks good. There's some options here that I don't want. And then I'm going to enable Iron Man mode. Iron Man mode basically means that you can't save and then load. The game will automatically save, and you can only pick up from where you left off. So basically every mistake I make is permanent, and if that's probably why we're going to end up doomed, because I'm going to reach a certain point where obviously I'm not skilled enough to do anything other than fail. So I'm going to enable that. I have the DLC on, so I have War of the Chosen, which you kind of see this as it goes along, but it changes the game with there's these 3 chosen aliens who kind of get randomized abilities and stalk you through the early part of the game. And I also have downloadable content, which is some smaller stuff, the addition of Sparks, which is what Printer was, and what else is there? There's the alien rulers, who are sort of like the Chosen, only now they don't show up unless you go to these specific missions. So they're a lot easier to manage than they were in the original DLC, where they just start, or as soon as you did the first mission, they could show up randomly and would just trash you. You can completely control when they get released. And there is another DLC that I'm forgetting. I think it, but it's not a huge thing. The War of the Chosen is the biggest one. Okay, so here we go. I think I'm going to skip the cutscenes because, I mean, I've seen them, and who cares about you guys, right? But, I mean, I figure if anybody really wants to see the cutscenes, they can just go to YouTube and watch the cutscenes. So this is all randomized, and it's pulled 4 of the characters for the first mission, which is actually one of the hardest missions. So for those of you at home who were trying to figure out who was going to die first, it's way more likely to be my character, Zebras, Katie, or Emir, because those are the 4 that I got started with this particular mission. So this mission is hard, because everybody is rookies, and rookies suck out loud. Basically all you can do with a rookie is shoot your gun, and they're not terribly accurate, or throw a single grenade. So what I'm going to try to do first, the goal for this mission is to put a little piece of C4 on this monument and blow it up. So you have to get over there, and there's somewhere over here, there's some alien guys who are going to try and mess me up. So what I'm going to try and do first is get up onto this building here, because you're more accurate if you're making shots from higher elevation, which is, aside from getting behind the guy's cover and flanking them, is pretty much the only thing you can do with a crappy rookie to try and make your shots a little bit more accurate. So I'm just going to move everybody up. You start the mission in concealment, which means nobody can actually see you unless you get terribly close to them. So I'm not overly concerned about my position right now. I'm going to go ahead and make... this is Katie. I'm going to make Katie sprint up here.
Solid copy.
I think Critters is going to die first. Damn, exactly. You should have waited 2 seconds, and then you would have seen... He can still very easily die first. It's just the first mission can get a little dicey. The rookies can die in 1 shot. So, sometimes they do. And I think I'm going to leave 1 person at, like, ground level, so that means probably the most likely person to die is now Zebras. So, rest in peace, Zebras. Okay, still don't see anybody. I'm going to look over here.
Position confirmed.
Nothing. Well, that's no good. There goes my cute idea about having this elevation.
That's affirmative.
Katie's gonna survive and be extremely depressed. She's gonna be depressed about living like the rest of us. Exactly. Alright, I think I'm gonna move back here. You can see these little shield icons. They're showing if there's either half or full cover. No cover is suicide, half cover is okay, and full cover is what you want, but you can still pretty much get killed by anything. Especially on the higher difficulties, the enemies will, make an effort at least to circle around your cover and try and trash you that way. We have here is Overwatch, which is something that basically they'll stay put, and if anybody on the alien's turn tries to move, they'll take a shot at them. Which is something you gotta use a lot. Okay, I'm gonna move up a bit. There's me being Australian.
These guys make up the bulk of the Advent forces we've dealt with. They're disciplined and well equipped, but their obedience makes them predictable.
Okay, so there we have the first guys we're gonna have to shoot. And over here, there's probably another squad of them, so I'm gonna try and get them from this side. I don't think my idea about staying on this building is gonna work terribly well because they're too far away, unless they move up.
And there now.
I'm gonna leave him on Overwatch over there.
Okay.
I'm gonna try and stay in full cover. If they move towards me on their turn, I might just start shooting from here. So I'm gonna leave Katie up there for now, and we'll see. So yeah, everybody on my turn, or on my squad, will go, and then everybody on their side will go. And on this particular turn, they didn't move, which is kind of bad for me because I kind of wanted them to. So I'm gonna creep up just a bit.
Affirmative. Moving out. On Overwatch.
Position confirmed.
And I'm going to try and circle around with Zebras here because that way I can maybe get some flanking hits on them and mess their cover up. So what you have when you first start most missions is concealment. You can see this little blue rim I've got around the screen. And what that lets you do is basically set up an ambush for the first squad that you run into. So you can bait them into an Overwatch shot or take a first shot. Unless they get particularly close to you, they will not notice you. And you can see here there's these red squares, and those are showing basically if the squares that if I move into, they will see me. So I'm going to move here.
Good copy. Moving on target.
And here. Oh, maybe I can get up on this. Can I get up on that? Not this turn. That's actually a good idea. I think I'm going to do that.
Copy that.
Okay. And I'm going to move up here, which is a little bit risky, but I also want to see if I can see the other squad. So there's the other squad. And if both of those squads notice me at once, I'm basically completely screwed. So I'm going to run away. But now I know more or less where they are, which is good. And that also tells me that getting up on this building will be a thing that is probably pretty good, because they're over here, the other squad's over here, so hopefully I can cut them both up. So with that, I'm going to run Emir the hell away and try to set myself up on that building. Which is...
Heading out.
And I apologize for being so cautious, but otherwise it will be a short stream, because the first mission is actually hard. And now these jerkbags are walking away. What a bunch of jerkbags. And you'll see here, if they'd moved much closer, I wouldn't have been able to move my own character away without them noticing, so I'm going to move him now. I made myself Australian, I think, just for some diversity in there. I'm sorry that I don't actually sound like that, but maybe one time I will challenge myself to speak in faux Australian for the entire stream.
Got it.
All right.
Affirmative.
Why is nobody writing in the chat cowards? There's 9 people there now. That's a lot of people. Or there was last time I looked. Yeah, 9. Wowee. I don't even think there's 9 people that care if I live or die, let alone 9 people in a chat. Yeah, one of the things I'd have liked to do, and I can still do it, like, well, probably what I'll do is write up like a summary for what happened in this stream for people who want to catch up or watch the first one. But one of the things I want to do, if I can, is kind of start like a death pool on who's going to be the next character to get killed, because I think that'll be amusing. Okay, so that's not quite good. I don't want Katie that far over because this squad over here might notice her. So I'm going to move her up here.
Target location. Affirmative. Moving out. Roger. I've got my eyes on.
Rolling out.
I'd murder you for a corn chip. That is a bargain at twice the price. What if Thrax is actually really good and we don't see any death? What would be the chances? I mean, we could bet on that. If anybody has that much faith in me, they're objectively wrong, but it would be a thing you could bet on. Okay, so these characters can't even move without being noticed. So I'm just going to put them on Overwatch. When they are concealed, they won't shoot unless they get noticed. So what'll happen is if these guys move and notice the squad, all 3 of them will take shots because that'll break them out of concealment. And it looks like they're going into the building, which is a huge pain in my ass. What a bunch of jerks. I don't know what the hell I can even do about that. Let's see if I can get eyes on them going here. Yeah, they saw Zebras there. Because only some of them went in the building, so now they're going to run away and try to take cover. And that one noticed them, so obviously we're already screwed. This is going to be a dog's breakfast right from the start. Excellent. All right, let's see what I've got here. The only thing I've got going for me is this higher elevated position I've got. But they can come from either angle here, which is going to be a big problem. So I think what I'm going to do is make Emir a sacrificial lamb and move him over here. So you can see the indicator here has gone yellow, which means they're flanked. So that's better odds to hit and better chance of critical, so that's more damage. So I think I'm going to go ahead and make that shot and try to get rid of one guy.
Something we could use here. Enemy down.
Okay, so that's one down. Zebra's already used half of her move, alerting literally everyone to the position. So, bad job, Zebras, basically. She got 66% chance on that guy, which isn't terrible. It's not good either. I think what I'll do is I'll move myself up here with Emir
On the move.
and try to set up some easy shots on these two. Yeah, that's not terrible. So when you throw a grenade, they're an automatic hit, and they also blow cover up. So this is kind of going to set me up for easier shots on these two guys. Unless I get lucky like that and just kill one of them. So that was a little bit of luck. Unfortunately, his cover didn't blow up, so that doesn't help me. This guy here is an officer, so he's more annoying than the other ones. So I think I'm going to move Katie here so that they can't shoot her from the side. I don't know if they can, but I'll play it safe.
Closing on target position now.
And take a shot at the officer, because he's the most dangerous one. Alright, so Katie is not good.
Target's still up.
Shame on her. Zebras only has a 46% chance to hit that guy. And about a 50% chance to hit him. So really those are two bad options. But I would like to get rid of the officer, so I'm going to go for the Hail Mary and shoot that guy. Nope.
Enemy is still up.
Okay, so it's their turn now. They're probably going to trash everyone. First, they're going to take a shot at Zebras, which missed because she's in full cover.
Incoming fire.
That's one thing I've got going for me is the cover I have is pretty good. This guy's on the roof, so that's bad. And he still manages to miss me for some reason. I did put a horseshoe up my character's butt. The officer has an ability to mark somebody, so he's marked Katie, which makes everybody else have easier shots on her. And Katie just got hit. She's basically almost dead. But everybody survived that round, which is kind of surprising. Okay, so I need to get if I move Katie over here, she'll be out of the range of most of the guys and able to take a quick shot at this guy, which isn't the worst thing. I wish I had a clearer indication of how far she could throw a grenade, though. Because I think what I'm going to do is move her here and then throw a grenade at this guy. Now, the grenade's going to do probably only 3 damage, but if I throw it here, you can see the little orange marker. It's going to blow the ground out from under him and drop him down, so he'll probably take falling damage and die. So basically, that's a sure death. And, yep, there you go. That's one down. And I think what else I'm going to do is if I throw a grenade at the officer, he'll be dead for sure. Can you play Animal Crossing next time? You get out of here. Nobody wants you here. You're snarky and a tuna.
Here, catch.
So I'm going to have Emir throw this grenade and kill the officer. One of the only real downside of using the grenades in this is that they destroy loot. Like you can see this little marker here is where there's loot, but they'll only usually drop 1 loot per fight. So I already know where it is, basically. Trying to see if I can get a good shot on this guy without moving Zebras anywhere too dangerous, and it doesn't look like I really can. So I have my move, and Zebras is left. One thing I have on right now is a mod. You can see this icon here that's red or yellow, and it's telling me basically when I have a flanking shot on somebody and when I don't. Which one of these guys am I more worried about, really? It's probably this guy, because he can more easily get a shot at Katie. And Katie's already hurt. So I think what I'm going to do is move here, which is a little risky with my own character, and try to shoot this guy right in the face. Okay, so 85% chance. Okay, so that's good. It's good that he hit, because there was only an 85% chance, and it's also good that he didn't do 3 damage, because they'll survive that. And that is bad news. So that leaves me with just this guy. And I can try doing exactly the same move on him, or I can just grenade him for 3 damage, which is pretty stupid. So probably, no matter what, he's going to be able to flank Zebras if he really wants to. And I don't want him getting a shot at Katie, so I'm going to do the riskier thing here and pull exactly the same move I just did with my character with Zebras, on the assumption that this guy's smart enough to move somewhere he can get an easy shot. So there you go, Zebras will miss with an 85% chance, which is a thing that happens a lot in XCOM. And we will see what happens as a result. Alright, this guy sucked. He had a chance to kill me and kind of screwed it up. So, more luck for me, although it's kind of counterbalanced against the luck from, or the luck of him being alive in the first place. I did set it to the easiest settings. You have no idea what you're talking about. But as always, I appreciate your gumption, and it's good that you don't let fact get in the way of insulting me. Yeah, there's definitely that aspect. Unless they go into Overwatch, which they very, very rarely do, you can just run right up to guys and shoot them in the face. Stick your gun against the side of their head.
Area is secure.
And,
Picking up any inbound contacts. Scanners are clear. -15, we have a limited window to act before Advent responds. We need
okay, so that was the last guy, so I actually got away with that, even though I triggered both pods at the same time, which was bad. Very bad, and sort of stupid. I didn't anticipate the second group seeing, even if I had moved Zebras there, to get spotted. So that was pretty damn sloppy. But nobody died, so that's good. Katie's going to be injured for a while, which means Katie is now actually one of the least likely people to die, because she's going to be stuck in the infirmary for like a long-ass time. So for those of you at home wishing Katie would die, you are probably going to be disappointed. But I guess you can take solace in the fact that she's very hurt. Okay, and I'm just going to stick this thing here, and that'll be it for this mission.
-15, rendezvous at the extraction point. Status confirmed. Squad is clear. Detonating targets.
Okay, that is the first mission, which is it can be the hardest mission in a lot of ways. There's not much you can do. There's not a lot of like panic button moves you have there aside from the grenades.
In the shadows, plotting to destroy all we have built.
I thought this game was supposed to be hard. It is hard, but it's also incredibly random.
Good for morale when we ace a mission like that.
The Ranger serves as our primary reconnaissance unit.
Alright, so everybody who gets at least one kill in that first mission gets promoted to a class aside from Rookie. And that's where you start seeing more special abilities coming in. So I got Ranger, which is like one of the best classes, actually. They get a shotgun and they're very mobile, so they kind of just run right up to people and shoot them in the side of the head. I also have gifted combat intelligence, which is handy.
Serving as our demolitions expert.
And here's Katie, is a grenadier, so she like basically shoots grenades, which is my other favorite class. The Rangers and the Grenadiers are kind of the backbone of what I'm using for stuff, especially early game. So it kind of sucks that she rolled as that because she's injured. But she's only wounded for 8 days, which isn't that bad. Emer is the specialist, so he's good for healing people and hacking things. He has a lot of support abilities. Which means Zebras is going to be the sniper, which probably means it's going to be hard to kill her because she's going to be further away.
With pinpoint accuracy from extreme range. They're also trained in pistol marksmanship for the occasional cloak.
All right. So that was an okay-ish first mission, I guess. At least nobody got killed and only one person got injured, which is good. Because you're going into the next mission and you want to have as few rookies as possible. So here's one of the new features from the expansion. There's bonds, which are soldier bonds, which basically two particular soldiers will become friends, and then they're extra good at backing each other up. So Katie and Zebras are already at the first level, which means they're probably incredibly compatible, which I buy considering Katie hates all men. So I think I'm going to go ahead and bond them. And I'm going to make a poster.
Commander,
So here's one of the things that it does is it'll automatically make
advance
a
propaganda
poster for them,
I say it's
which is
time
kind of
to
amusing. It's another one of the new things.
by spreading the word of our
So,
soldiers' exploits in combat.
You can mess around with that and kind of make it look better, which I don't feel like doing right now, so I'm just going to leave it how it is. 2 combined missions. Yes, because they did 1 mission once each. So now we'll be extra sad when one of them dies because they're best pals. And it takes a poster for every mission. You can kind of mess with those if you want. Justice for South Africa. That's a pretty good. That's a pretty good quote. All right.
Oh, that's a cute pose.
Okay. Oh, I just took another one. Whoops. Okay, so here's like the main strategic layer of the game where you're trying to plan out all of the building and different stuff you're going to do throughout the mission. It's kind of going to shunt me around and try to get me to do the setup for the start of the first couple missions. So, all right. And in terms of missions, I think the first thing I'm going to do is I forget what all of these do, honestly. I'm just going to do modular weapons. They're pretty fast, the first 3 researches. Okay.
It's been slow going, but I've made headway interfacing
One
our
thing I'm going to
operating
do
technology still embedded throughout
is
the
I'm going to
ship.
build a
Most of
med
the
kit,
primary systems
because those are
are
usually
now
pretty
operating
handy.
on some combination of our technology
And
theirs.
I'm going to build
My hope is to
a
use
guerrilla
the
tactics
world
school,
to
or
build
start
a
building one. It takes 14 days to build, but it lets you expand the squad size to 5 and later 6, which is pretty important. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to go here.
Commander, good to see you on your feet again. Welcome to the bridge, the nerve center of our operation.
So if they die, it's permanent. Yes. I'm not allowed to load saves in this version of the game, so if somebody gets killed, that's it, they're done.
Industry, not to mention the...
Okay, I don't care about the cutscene too much.
We're attempting contact with a local resistance faction known as the Reapers. These people like to keep
So
a
what type
very
of the
low
game of this
profile,
is this
so it may take some
first-person
time before
shooter?
we hear
Is
back.
that a serious question?
While we're waiting, it might be worthwhile to scan the area for
It's a
additional
strategic game.
supplies
It's
and
a turn-based strategy.
You never know what we may find out there. Commander.
Okay. All right, so one of the things you do is you have this world map, and on there you can kind of scan for different things that are like random bonuses. This one is rookies, which is not terribly useful, but it will give me a larger pool of people to draw from, so that can be good. But really, right now, I probably have a fair amount. Okay, so there's modular weapons. Okay.
During the course of our research, we made a startling breakthrough that has led us to another potential avenue of study. However, if we are to proceed down this path, we must do so
28 days for mega weapons, that's pretty awful. I'm just going to go for hybrid materials and kind of round out the starting things.
to begin, Commander.
Alright, so let's finish scanning for these rookies. These rookies will probably be randomized nobodies, but later if I end up using them, yeah, you'll see Willem, Boss, Esther, these aren't people from the pool. I already have all those people. But later in the game I can customize them if I end up using them. So let's, we'll look here for supplies. Not only does one have to defend up invaders, but also take over the world at the same time. Sort of like that. The way it works is you scan for different areas and contact this resistance faction to help you fight off the aliens. The entire thing is you against the aliens. Okay, so this is the first guerrilla mission where you're trying to counter some of the stuff that the aliens are doing. So this is going to be my first chance to use some of my better characters. And I think because I only have the 4 people to use... let's see if Katie's injured. Katie's still injured for the next 40 hours. So I think because of that, I'm going to... Oh, that sucks. My smartest people are people who are nobodies. All of my actual friends are idiots. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave... no, I'm going to take all of my named characters who have actual promotions, and I'll bring one more person to kind of round that out. So one thing I'd like to do there is bring one of the characters with higher combat intelligence, because those are the characters that end up being better later in the game. And I'm also going to look at the ones that have higher will, because for similar reasons, those are the ones that have basically higher potential. So I'm looking over this, and like I said, the greens are the smartest characters, and those are unfortunately nobodies. But it looks like this is the best character I have from the pool of people I know, so I'm going to bring Lynn. The other thing I can do is equip people with different things. Early in the game, you don't have anything. The only thing I've built is that med kit. So Emir is going to get the med kit because he's the specialist, which are a little bit better at utilizing med kits, and everybody else is going to have their default equipment, which is frag grenades. I can build flashbangs, which are good for disorienting enemies, but I don't want to spend the supplies right now. And I think if I'm bringing a crew of, at least what in this part of the game amounts to ringers, i.e. not rookies, I'm hoping I can make do without any new equipment, aside from the med kit. So I'll be bringing these characters, and we'll see how that goes. Can the other side go away you and take over what you took first? Yes. The aliens will do different kinds of missions as I go along, and if I don't counter their missions, they can take back territory that I've taken. Right now I only control this area. But if I take over some other ones later, they may take it back if I screw up, basically. Losing a single mission generally does not mean you lose the game. The game tends to go on, so you can evacuate if something's going really bad and take what people you have and go home. But one of the consequences of that is that you'll lose areas. And areas are what your income is based on, so it's not good to lose them. But you may end up in a situation where you don't have a choice. If, like in that first mission when I'd popped both of those alien pods at the same time, if I'd missed a lot more instead of killing some of them, and it was a later mission, I might have just wanted to get the hell out of there, and as opposed to possibly losing some of my other named soldiers. But luckily it didn't quite go that badly. Okay, so again, we're in concealment, so we're going to try not to screw this up as badly as I did the other time. But what I do have for this mission is I'm supposed to be hacking this computer, which is way over here. But I only have 7 turns to get over there. So this is one of the things I kind of appreciate about this game and the design of it, is it has... so you have your concealment and you want to set your ambushes up, but at the same time, you have these pretty... they're not super difficult, but they are... there's still a limit. Time limits. I dicked around for way more than 7 turns in that first mission because there was no time limit. In this one, I don't have that luxury. I kind of need to keep moving. So I think I'm going to just start sprinting right from the get-go and see if I spot anybody. Okay. Okay, and there we have our first proper alien creature, which is the sectoid. So I'll want to screw up less in terms of my ambush on that, because it's a little bit more dangerous than the Advent soldiers, which are the humanoid guys. So, I'm going to move up here. One thing I would like to do is the specialists have a little, this little robot that they use for hacking things and healing people remotely. It's called the Gremlin. And one of my favorite things to do is give the person, find there's I believe it's Irish, an Irish soldier voice, and that person just pronounces Gremlin, and I just love that. So I might have to get another specialist or change Emir to Scottish just so that I can hear him say Gremlin, because I like that so much. We'll see how it goes. But for now, I'm going to move Zebras up here. So she's up here and can't get a shot on anybody right now. So kind of you can kind of see I have unpleasant decisions to make in terms of you know, do I want to take another turn and set up better, or do I want to keep pressing forward because because of the time limit? And that's kind of one of those things you just have to make one of two unpleasant decisions. But I think I'm going to take the risk of shooting at the aliens on this turn and see how that goes, because I don't have the most time. So I'm going to put Zebras in Overwatch so that if anybody runs after I take a shot at these guys, she can shoot at them with a pistol. And kind of go from there. And then I have the question of who do I want to shoot with and from where. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to move up here.
Confirmed.
And I'm going to take a shot at this guy with Emir. And I'm going to leave everybody else with their open action so that they can kind of react. Because this... Yeah. Alright, so let's just go ahead and see how that goes. Alright, I'm going to take a shot at the Advent Trooper. The sectoid by itself will probably use some psionic attacks, which aren't as dangerous if there's only one... if there's no one around for them to capitalize on it with. So I'm just going to see how this shot goes. Okay, so he hit, but he didn't do enough damage to actually kill him. So when that happens, it breaks concealment, and these guys are going to basically run for cover now. When they do that, they may trigger Len with her pistol, or Zebras with her pistol, but that did not happen this time. So... the Ranger class has a sword, and I think what I'm going to do is get right in the sectoid's face and slash with a sword with my character. Because if I'm lucky, like I just was, he'll die in one shot. So that was lucky. But one thing I want to do in shooting at this guy is not move up any further than I already have characters, because if there's more aliens here, I'm going to trigger them at the end of my turn with no way to react to them. So that would be bad news. So I think what I'm going to do... everybody's in full cover, so I'm going to stick to that. And I move here and take a shot at this guy. 67% chance to kill him. I could throw a grenade, but I want to save it. Okay, so a little bit of luck there too. And they're taken care of. Okay, so... I still have a lot of ground to cover before I get to this this thing that I'm supposed to hack. So... now that I've broken concealment, when I move, the aliens are going to be able to see me immediately and react. So you have to be a little bit more careful when you're moving up. I'm going to move my character up first. Rangers are good to lead with because they're better in close range. So now I've moved him up, and I kind of know there's nobody in this hallway. So probably there's a group here-ish and another one here-ish. There's usually there are 3 groups total. So I'm not going to move him up anymore. I'm going to move everybody else up to catch up with him and leave it at that.
I'm all over it.
Generally speaking, you do want to stick together. It's a little bit better to have everybody able to react to the same things, because if you spread out too much, you'll end up triggering multiple enemies at the same time, and you won't be able to react to them with your entire squad, and that's how you die. Okay, so... I don't want to move her here, so I'm going to move her here. And I'm not going to move him up, so I'm just going to put him into Overwatch. That way, if any aliens come meandering from that side, I'm going to get a free shot at them before they go. Alright. Yeah, everybody doing good so far? This is everything you dreamed in stream form. I only want to make you guys happy. I mean, that's not actually true, but I'm saying it. Okay, so... I'm move up here and see if I can find anything there. Still nothing. So I'm going to move other people up, but I'm not going to use their full move. When you see here, there's this blue... every soldier has 2 actions. And a blue move is 1 action, a yellow move is 2. So if I move yellow, or if I move to the yellow region, I can't react. I can't shoot, I can't go to Overwatch, I can't do healing actions, anything. So you don't really want to do that if you can avoid it. But... I am going to move up a little bit more, because I am a little bit worried about that time limit. Okay, so now I'm most worried about getting Zebras to a spot where she has a good vantage. Snipers are able to... They have something called squad sight, which is if any member of the squad can see it, the sniper can shoot it. So you can leave them at the back, and there's not too much consequence for doing that. And I'm going to move her here. And Emer can go into Overwatch. Okay, so she's able to hear aliens in that direction. So they may walk in, and that's what they've done. And you'll see there, Emer got a free shot before they noticed. And now they're going to notice and scramble. Oh, J-Rock is here. What's up, J-Rock? And Zebras was in pistol Overwatch, which means if anybody moves into the range of her pistol, she's able to take a shot. So she did that. One little problem I have here for sure is this sectoid is far away. And that's not good for me. Yeah, not too much I can do about that. I think what I'll do is I'll move my character here. And I'll take a shot here. Well, do I want to leave the option open of shooting at the sectoid? What I'd really like is to see if I can get a grenade under him and drop him. But it looks like I have to move further up for that. So, I think I'm going to take the easy shot here. No, I'm not in any rush to do that. Okay, I think this'll be my shot here. Good. Yeah, absolutely. Weiterboten. That is exactly what I was thinking. Thank you for your German commentary. I'm rooting for the Canadians. I actually made my character South African, just for some variety. This sectoid is going to cause me some grief, because he... Well, we'll see how it goes on his turn, but I don't want to get my guys too far away from each other.
That's affirmative.
32% chance is pretty garbage. But if I get really lucky, he will blow away the cover that he's taking, so I'm going to take that shot anyways. And for my character, I'm going to go Overwatch rather than taking the shot. That way if he moves, I'm going to take a shot at him, which is better because right now he's in cover. And Zebras, I'm going to move... no, I'm going to do the same thing here. Pistol Overwatch. So we'll see. He moved and they both missed. So I'm not having a lot of luck with Overwatch shots this stream. Luckily he moved closer instead of further away. Okay, so what'll happen there is the sectoid tried to mind control Emir, which would basically turn him to the alien side for as long as the sectoid is alive. What happened instead is he resisted that, but then got panicked. So now he's kind of losing his mind, which is bad because I need Emir to hack the objective. He's the specialist, and he's the only one who can hack this computer remotely. So I have to hope he basically gets his wits back next turn, or I'm going to have a bad time. So I'm going to go ahead and take another swipe at this with my character and his sword. Again, those sectoids are vulnerable to the swords, so you can get lucky like that and just one-shot them. All the screams. I know, those were pretty good screams.
Commander, we have confirmation of the exposed access point.
Ah, okay, so I wasn't sure that this would be the case, but it turns out the panic is tied to the sectoid. So Emir is no longer panicked, which is good. It means I can take a shot with him or move him or try and hack the objective. And I haven't decided which one of those might be the best right now. So I think I'm gonna put Zebras and Overwatch back here.
Covering now.
Linne, what can I do with her? I'm going to move her up to this location and kind of try to circle around them a little bit. Okay, and again, I'm going to put her in Overwatch, so if they move out of that little area, I can get a free shot at them. Emir... I'm trying to see if there's anywhere I can get full cover and still hack the objective. If I can get the hacking out of the way this turn, it's kind of to my benefit. But it doesn't look like that's going to be the case, unless I go here, which is too close. So... he also needs to reload his gun. When he panicked, he ran and shot uselessly. So I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to run over here, hack the workstation in case something bad happens to Emir before next turn, and get that out of the way, because that stops the timer. And then I'm going to worry about the next problem when it comes. So here's the little hack screen, and what you'll see here is basically you have a percentage chance for these different things, and you can choose between these two. So guaranteed is breach network, half the workstation, which is the objective, and I'm allowed to choose a hack reward, which is either watch list or enemy protocol. Enemy protocol permanently increases hack stats by 20, which is incredible. It's a lot, and it'll be for the rest of the game. So even though it's a 20% chance of that happening, if that does happen, Emir will be far and away my best hacker for basically the rest of the game. So it's a 1 in 5 chance, and I'm going to take that, even though watch list has a better chance of happening. And barely missed it. So I'm just going to get the objective and not the protocol. Okay, so these guys are both going to get a shot, so this could go bad. It depends what they decide to do. Okay, so the officer moved and marked my character. So anybody who's taking a shot at me gets an easier one. Zebras has missed another Overwatch shot, so she's been completely useless. And he's probably going to take a shot at my character because of the mark. And he does. Okay, so luckily he didn't freak out when he got shot at, which is good. So, these are the last two guys on the map. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to move around here and kind of flank them a little bit. Which will be a setup in case this turn goes really badly, because what I really want to do is try and blow these guys up. Okay, that pillar didn't blow up, which is a little bit bad. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is I think I'm going to take a... You can move twice and then sword, so I could move around back here. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this slightly risky move and move up here. And if it goes really, really bad on me, I can always just try and heal my character rather than attack with Emir. So I got a 100% chance with the shotgun, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this officer because he's the bigger threat. And that will also get rid of the mark. Alright, so... I think the sensible thing to do here, considering Zebras only has a 55% chance to hit,
Understood. Moving out.
will be to run up and blow up his cover.
This is for you.
And I have a slight chance that'll do 4 damage. And it did. Otherwise, I would have taken a shot with the Emir because that guy's cover had been blown up. And there we go. There's another mission with 1 character injured, and other than that, no deaths. So the death pool goes on.
The speaker commended
Let me just make a grenade go through the wall. No, I don't think so. She shot, or she threw it. She was on the side of the wall, but she kind of threw it to the right. If they have, they kind of are assumed to be able to lean around cover. So they'll do that. Okay, so Emir had a freak out,
The aliens must be getting nervous.
and I got shot. But other than that, we're doing good. So this is the first corporal we have rather than a squatty, which is the second upgrade. And what it'll let you do is choose between 2 different things. So I can choose either when the squad is revealed, this soldier remains concealed, or all sword attacks deal an extra 2 damage and have plus 10 aim. I like to take the Blade Master because it basically, you saw that mission, both the sectoids I got 8 damage hits on and one-shotted. But you can still miss, and you can easily do less than 8 damage, so putting Blade Master on gives you an easy early answer for sectoids. Okay, we have another specialist, which is not really what I was hoping for. And Emir gets a promotion, so he's also a corporal. I'm going to give him medical protocol, which basically makes him a better healer. Can you explain the 4 and 8 damage? Yeah. 85% 3 hit, what is it? I'm not sure I quite understand the question. I did finish the mission. So, what it'll do is, the percentages is showing the chance you have to hit or miss. So if it says 85% chance, that's the chance I have to hit or not hit. And then the damage is also a range. So you can critical, which will make the damage way higher, or you can do within a range. Yeah, so when I said 85% odds, that was the odds to hit. And then I think with that particular shot was probably a shot with the assault rifles. And the assault rifles, if they don't critical, they'll go either 3 or 4 damage. So you have to be lucky to do a 4 damage shot, which is enough to kill a trooper in one shot. Because you need to be able to hit in the first place, and then you need to do 4 damage. When I threw the grenades usually do 3 damage and will sometimes do 4. So again, that was lucky. Although the grenades don't have a chance to hit. If you get somebody in the range of the grenades, it's a 100% chance. Okay.
It looks like we've got our work cut out for us, Commander. You and
Yes. Hitting for 4 damage is a kill. So I need, yeah, basically, because they have 4 points. The basic troopers. The sectoids have 8, which is why it's good that they have that vulnerability to melee weapons, which is why I kept hitting them with the sword. Because if you're trying to shoot at them with the rifles, it can take forever. Yes, as I go along, there's a lot harder aliens that have as much as like
We can start clearing out.
60 hit points. Yep.
We should keep looking for more recruits, though. We'll need them to staff
Okay,
facilities.
so one of the rewards from that mission was an engineer, and engineers are kind of the backbone of your buildings and your strategic layer here. They'll build things for you, they'll clear garbage out of these rooms, and they'll build new rooms that do things. And you can also use them to staff those rooms that give you various benefits. Let me see, I forget what the Guerrilla Tactics School does. Once you've upgraded it, I forget. But for example, there's an infirmary. And if you build the infirmary can be used to heal troopers faster. So, like Katie was injured for 8 days on that first mission. If I had the infirmary up and running and staffed with an engineer, it would only be 4. So there's all kinds of benefits that you can get from this that matter when you're actually in a mission. So the big part of the game is kind of trying to min-max everything so that you're able to handle everything at once. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the engineer I got as a reward there and start excavating this room. So it's going to take him 5 days to clear this garbage out of that room, and when it does, it's going to leave me an empty room that I can build something that has an effect on. So you're building janitors to clean up rooms. Basically, yeah. Yeah, I went and I rescued that guy so that I had a janitor. And that's pretty much the state of the human resistance in this game, is staging elaborate missions to rescue janitors. Status friend is gone. Good night, status friend. We'll miss you. I'm gonna have the stream recordings up though, so if you want to play catch up whenever at your leisure, you can do that. But thanks for coming out. It's cool. I haven't done a stream before, so it's kind of cool to have people actually show up. Okay. Okay, so he's clearing the debris out of this room. The building is building itself. For some reason, you don't actually need an engineer to build a room. They just make it go faster. So I'm going to, I'm going to leave this unstaffed and have the engineer work on clearing out the debris from this room. All right.
Local resistance forces in the area.
Okay, so there's my first storyline objective, is to contact this region and then do this mission that's there. All right, and here we have a scientist, which increases the speed of all of my tech development. So it's pretty important to get 1, 2, or 3 scientists pretty quick. The way it works is, there's a flat amount of time that it takes to research things, and you start with just your lead scientist. I forget, Tygan, I think his name is. He counts as 2 scientists worth of productivity. So if you get a scientist early in the game, it speeds everything up by 50%, which is pretty good. Okay, so he's finished doing this hybrid materials, which just nanoscale vest, but the more important thing is that it lets you research plated armor, which is the 2nd tier of armor. But it will take forever. So it takes 30 days with the amount of staff I have right now. So I'm going to worry about resistance communications first. That's a stepping stone to contacting new regions, which is how I build up my income. So you don't need someone to build the room, but you need to build someone to clean the room which was built by itself. Precisely. Yes. It's a global war against an alien terror, and the first thing they did was they hit the janitors hard and fast. Anything infrastructure. Could I explain time? What about it? In-game time? Basically, there's when I'm scanning in a region here, the clock will speed up. And some things may happen that interrupt that. For example, here, I finished clearing a room, so it'll stop the clock and let me go back. 30 days is how much real time? It doesn't exactly work like that because it's going to be sped up and slowed down and interrupted by however many missions I happen to have in that 30-day span. A full game will run for something like 6 or 8 months of in-game time. And will take maybe 30 to 40 hours of real life time, maybe less, more or less, depending on how lucky you are, how much time you take to dig around, and all that. Okay, so the janitor has finished clearing this room, so it's now empty. I can build something in there if I want to. I can also start clearing out these other rooms. What we have here are power coils, which when you build, all the rooms take power to be built and to operate. You can see up here I've got 9 out of 15 right now. The power coils, if you build a power plant on them, which increases your power, it's more efficient. So I try to dig for those early. So basically I'm going to try and build my power here and here. So I'm going to try and dig straight down, which if I had been slightly smarter, I probably would have done earlier, but I wasn't. Whoops. But I do have this empty room here, which I can build a training center in once I have enough supplies. So that's better. Okay. All right, I'm going to try and finish scanning for the scientist. So you can see the clock down here, and that's kind of showing how time is moving. It moves incredibly slow if I'm not scanning. And very fast if I am. Scanning is kind of how you pass time. When you're not doing anything else, you're scanning. So this scan is done, and I got the scientist, and this is decreased research time, which is good. And it's also got another soldier that I can scan for. This will probably be some upgraded soldier, it won't be a rookie. But that's not my biggest priority right now, so I'm going to go and try and get those supplies. Because early game, there's a pretty big crunch for supplies. All right, and he's finished finished researching resistance communications, which is how you make contact with new regions. So I have resistance comms available now. Resistance comms are contacts, which are what is basically different areas on the map that you contact, which gives you more income. So it's kind of important to prioritize that and kind of push as hard as you can early on to have contacts and your number of regions increased. But I can't afford to build the actual resistance comms, so I'm not going to bother at present. I'm going to go back and continue scanning for those supplies.
Commander, we can now work to establish contact with local resistance groups.
Okay, so now that I have those comms, I'm able to make contact with these regions. So supply drop is in 8 days. That's when you get the supplies that you get for making contact with regions. So if I want here, and this is what I'm going to do, is I'm going to stop worrying about the supplies from the stadium. I can always come back to that and try to make contact with one of these two regions. And this one has higher income, so I'm going to try that. Okay, so when I click this, it shows me it's going to take 5 or 7 days. So what that's going to do is if I finish scanning here, it'll be in before the supply drop in 8 days, and I'll have that much more income from supplies, which is good. Now it costs intel, which is one of the different resources you can have in this game, and I only started with 40. So until I have some new intel, I can't contact that other region.
Using intel collected so far, we've
Regional contact.
All right, he's finished with
The
that.
officers have clearly been modified to allow for their subordinates to receive new orders psionically.
Okay.
Chip is the key.
Now I'm choosing between of these. I can go for magnetic weapons, which is like the second tier of weaponry, so they're more damage, basically. But they cost a lot of supplies to build. Or resistance radio, which improves areas and makes them easier to contact. But also at the cost of supplies, so it's kind of tricky. I think the magnetic weapons would pay off sooner than the resistance radio would. So I'm going to go with that. And that's it for this. Okay, I'm going to keep making contact with this region. Alright, so this mission is part of the new DLC. And basically what it is it allows you to make contact with one of the special resistance factions that are part of the new expansion. So it also gives a scientist as a reward and 74 intel, so that's good. It is a fairly long mission, though, which is kind of a pain in the ass. It's kind of 3 missions in succession. 2 smaller missions and then 1 at the end. And it introduces the newer elements from the expansion. So we'll kind of see some of those. Now, there's 2 squads in this of 2. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put Katie, who's now recovered, and Zebras in one squad because they're bond mates, so they'll have some bonuses they give to each other. And then the other squad... my character is pretty good because Rangers are good. And I will need a specialist. So I can take either Emir or Lane. That's a harder choice. Or I can try and take a rookie and kind of carry somebody so that they get a rank up earlier. So it's kind of a choice you got to make. I could use the specialist. And this mission isn't very hard. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to save my guy back so that for next mission I have a ranger in case I really need it. Send Emir because I need a specialist. I'll leave leave her behind for now so that I have a specialist for next mission if I meet it. And I'll bring a rookie. So I'll bring one of these clowns with a higher combat intelligence, which I think is Tim. Let me see here. Yeah, her combat intelligence is gifted, which makes her one of my better soldiers. So even though she's only a rookie, I'll bring Tim and hopefully get her promotion to something that is ideally not a sharpshooter or a specialist.
Sky Ranger deployed.
In position for deployment.
Okay, is there anything else people want me to explain? I'm kind of only caring if people want things explained because I don't know where people are in terms of being able to understand what's going on. I don't know. Alright, so these are best friends, Katie and Zebras. And it's not letting me skip this particular cutscene, so whatever, enjoy, people.
Stay sharp out there today, people. Just because this city was abandoned doesn't mean it's lifeless.
Oh, we got a bit of a Inception blow sound. Are all these missions new to you? No, I've actually done a full playthrough of this before, so I'm familiar with virtually all the missions. There's some randomized elements in them that will kind of make them different, but in this one in particular is always the same, so I know exactly what's going to happen in this mission.
You are safe here. More so than you imagine.
Yeah, it is kind of a familiar big game music where they have a wow, and then needlessly like super, oh this is epic kind of music. Maybe I'll sub in different music later in the stream. Just more difficult.
Your presence already disturbs them.
Yeah.
Quickly, my people will take care of this camp. Come.
Playing on this particular difficulty and with Iron Man is new to me. In the expansion, I did it in the older version of the game, and I never got past like halfway through. There's.
We don't know much about the skirmisher contact.
Didn't have your headphones on, so you weren't hearing shit. That's okay. It took you a while to figure that out, but I'm glad you caught up.
Pretty sure hands are bloody on both sides of this fight. That's the whole point of this interview.
Okay, so for this mission, you have the 2 people that you sent in this particular squad, plus the Reaper, which is like a special class. And I'll probably customize this Reaper and make it into somebody, but right now, when it first gives you her, she already has like a personality, so I'll override that later. The Reapers have a version of concealment that is even better, which only has a chance of being broken when they fire, and they also have increased movement range while they're in concealment. It's called Shadow. You can see how it's all green. So they are really, really excellent classes to run ahead like I've done there and kind of scout for everybody else.
Headed there now.
The trick with snipers that makes them tricky to use is that their sniper rifles can't be fired unless you have both actions. So they're the only class where you can't move and fire their main weapon on the same turn, which can be difficult. And it's why I don't really favor them compared to some of the other classes. Okay, and what we have here is some Lost, which are kind of like zombies,
We are not alone.
and they have some
They still look like people.
they have some weird properties.
Years ago.
They tend to attack in swarms, and they're pretty weak individually. But if you kill a Lost in one shot on your turn,
Creature's DNA has mutated well
it refunds the actions you spent.
the result of long
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move Katie up so she has a better shot.
why anyone would subject themselves
And then I'm going to take a shot at the closest one, and it has a 76% chance. So we'll see how she does.
Such as this to scavenge for food.
Okay, so she killed that Lost, and when she does that, she gets her action back. So as long as she doesn't miss, she can keep taking shots at them. So I'm going to start with Katie and Zebras because they can shoot and get their actions refunded, and I don't have to worry about breaking the Reaper's concealment. So I can keep using her to scout as long as she doesn't break out of Shadow. So I'm going to take a shot here with Zebras. 75% chance, not too bad. And again, because she hit, she gets her actions refunded. So if I'm lucky, she'll make the 73% chance. She'll get to keep her action, and I won't have to worry about using the Reaper. And she missed. Zebras misses a lot, and I think I might have to, get rid of her and throw her in a gulag. So I don't think that Lost is going to be able to close and attack this turn. So I'm going to try and preserve my Shadow and only put her on Overwatch concealed. So only if somebody moves into her particular range and notices her, will she take a shot. Okay, so we have some more Lost here. But this is the one I'm concerned about because he's got his full move for this turn, or her. I don't know. Doesn't seem to have a hell of a lot of junk.
My people have
Okay.
encountered these beings before. At first, they may appear mindless.
I'm going to
Well, in great
take a shot with Katie, I think. 84%, pretty good. Big consequences if I miss there because I won't be able to reload her gun. But 84 is pretty good chance. All right, so she didn't miss. So what I can do, her weapon's now empty. I can reload it, which will take one of her 2 actions. And then with the second action, I can try and get a shot at one of these Lost or move her. And I think I'm going to do the former, and I'm going to do that right now. Okay, so she made that. That's good. And it's extra good because I can keep her on Overwatch for when that other guy moves. So I'm going to move the Reaper up so that I can get a better look at where the other one is. I still can't see, which is kind of bizarre. So instead I'm going to move Zebras up and put her into Overwatch with her pistol because I don't think the Lost has a lot of health. Everybody's going to be in Overwatch, and I know there's one alive somewhere, so we'll see what he does. But when he does move into sight range, he's going to be taking those 2 Overwatch shots. Zebras misses again. Snipers are supposed to be accurate. But Katie kills it. So we're going to have to send Zebras to a gulag. You know, when I first started this, I had the idea of trying to only add people from my own alliance and adding other people after, but I got really enamored with the idea of making a B character, so I made Zebras anyways, and I'm being punished for that. So never be nice to anybody is the lesson I learned. And from this point forward, I'll be trying to, try to follow through on that. Okay, so again, I've moved the Reaper up to kind of get a better look, and you can see the next batch of Lost are over here. So I think I'm just going to worry about reloading this turn, and instead of trying to antagonize those guys. Because this mission doesn't have a time limit, so I'm in no particular rush. Okay, and I'm just going to take a quick break here, so all of you guys can amuse yourself for a bit, and I'll be right back in maybe like 2 minutes.
If we do not defeat the aliens soon, we will become little more than they are.
Alright, and I'm back. So, Fraggle makes a good point. Would have been nice to leave us with some elevator music while you go to take a sloppy dump. But on the other hand, I could have brought you with me to make a sloppy dump. Now, I want everybody to think about how I was able to take a dump that fast and the consequences for my own personal hygiene. Okay? Just have a quick moment of reflection there. And with that, we will go back to, okay. So, one of the things I do have on right now is a mod. And the mod, you see this little yellow or orange marker? It shows me basically when aliens will notice me moving. So, yeah, I don't know, you can call that cheating a little bit. It does make the game a little bit easier, but if I was really smart, I would know already. So I don't see it as that game breaking. It's the most most game changing mod that I have. The rest of the ones I have are cosmetic, ease of use kind of things.
I go where I'm needed.
So I'm just going to move everybody up. Generally speaking, being closer gets you more accuracy with your shots. So I'm going to creep everybody close, and on next range, or next turn, I'm going to open up on these guys. Alright, so they moved into range on their turn, so we're going to get those Overwatch shots. That's a fair amount of them, though, because I wasn't counting on that particular squad. I hadn't seen them. So I probably have...
All this for pray tell Mox? If he is not what you say he is, I shall kill him myself.
Looking forward to this meeting already.
I think these Lost haven't noticed me still. So I'm just going to back off a little bit and go into Overwatch and wait for these guys to come to me. Which is super conservative, really, but these guys aren't too much of a threat. But you do have to be cognizant of the fact that you have a limited squad size here. As soon as you have 1 or 2 misses, all your actions are gone and you're shit out of luck until your next turn. So...
Central. Biological signatures are grouping into a singular mass. One closing in on this position.
A swarm. We must push forward before it arrives.
I've never played a mission where that's proven to be true, where there's actually a swarm. I guess we'll see. It'll be fun in this stream if I'm just wrong and there isn't indeed a swarm that comes if you dick around for too long.
Okay. Hostile neutralized. Weapons burning ammo fast.
Alright, and Katie did some good work there.
Neutralized. Jet in the water here.
Generally speaking, the Grenadiers are the least accurate class, and it's hard to get them to hit. So she's doing good work. And again, generally speaking, the sharpshooters are the most accurate class, which is part of why I'm so disappointed in Zebras. But I'm going to go ahead and move her over to cover Katie and get a shot at this guy. So she shot him, but if you don't kill them in one shot, you don't get your actions back. So because she wasn't able to do enough damage with her little dinky pistol there,
Position.
he's still going to get a turn. So I'm going to put the Reaper into Overwatch in case he moves into her range. Oh, these guys noticed me, so we got some fun coming up next round. I mean, you missed a lot of the stream. You have been missing like absolute crazy this entire time.
For years.
So yeah,
Hunted
you...
his kind. For years.
But I think you're also the only person who I took on every mission. So I like you, but you don't like me, I guess.
Notice the aliens have been kicking our planet's ass for the past 20 years. You think maybe it's time we try something else?
If only your species
That's better.
could take down these
Maybe I need Zebras in the channel for her character to do well. Yeah. Okay, I take it all back.
Target neutralized.
I take it all back. You're my friend again. And I think with this guy, he's closer. The sniper range is better, or the sniper rifle is better at long range. I'm going to reload her sniper rifle and make her shot with the pistol instead, because he only has 1 health anyways. So yeah, 91% chance. The pistol's good at close range. The sniper rifle's good at long range. And now with that done, she's kind of cleaned up everybody by herself. I'm going to move her up. And you missed it, Zebras, but you are best friends with Katie in this. You guys are bond mates, which basically means you're buddies and you give bonuses to each other.
I go where you tell me. Watching comes naturally.
One thing to note about Overwatch shots is that they do have a penalty to hit. So even though generally when you're taking an Overwatch shot at somebody, it's because they're moving between covers. There's definitely some trouble you run into because of that.
Sort of rudimentary communication system. Perhaps auditory signals or
That's one cool thing about the game is anytime somebody is moving through a window, they will just jump through the glass.
knows there is food
So it's pretty fun.
I would advise we make haste to leave this area.
Katie's getting it done. Katie's as scary in this game as she is in real life. This game feels the same as Mario and Rabbids, but with more violence and guns. I'm not familiar with Mario and Rabbids, but if it's like this game, I might have to check it out, because I like the format of this game, the style of it. It's kind of like a Final Fantasy Tactics, or a game when I played it when I was a kid called Shining Force, which was for the Sega Genesis. I love that game. That was my pretend to be sick and stay home from school game when I was a kid. So I got some fond memories of that. You know, it brings me back a little playing a game that's, even if it's similar to it. Even though obviously this game has a lot more going on. Do I want to Overwatch? No, I'm going to reload instead. Sitting here and listening to some nerd ramble. I mean, while I am a nerd, people say my voice doesn't sound that bad, which is good. Makes me, that's one of those things that, like, one of the very few things that keeps me from suicide, because I have so few. Alright, so the good news here is I've got eyes on the evac zone, which is where I'm trying to push to. So we're getting there.
I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if Advent had a hand in their creation, Doctor.
So we're getting closer. I'm going to move up and see if...
Extraction point is close, but looks like these things don't want to make it easy for you.
We will
Okay.
make it your pet Advent in time.
Yeah, that's some good news there. It looks like that's the only enemies left. One thing that does happen in this particular mission is that this mission, like I said, it was a chain of 3. There's this mission, and then the other squad of 2 does a mission, and then they do a mission together. And any limited use items that you use are used up in the mission where they join again. So it's good to not use things like grenades if you don't have to. It's good to not use... the Reaper's abilities has some limited use abilities. One where she goes back into concealment, but she can only do it once, and one where she throws a little mine. So, you know, ideally you want to save those, because that last mission is way harder than this. Okay. Alright, I'm going to move... I'm going to do what I've been doing, because it's been working, is moving up with Katie, and then seeing where I'm at after that. Okay, so they'll take notice of me, and they'll move a little bit. One other thing about these lost enemies is they are sensitive to sound. So, basically, if you're using any kind of explosive weapons against them, or something happens that makes something explode, like a car or a purifier tank or any of those things. You'll see what the purifier tanks are in a second. Spoilers. It'll attract more of the enemies, and more of them will spawn on the map. So there's an incentive there for you to not use explosive weapons, which makes sense because if you saw how tightly those guys were grouped, they would have been very easy to take out with an explosive. So instead, I got to dick around with all this shooting stuff and hoping I get headshots. I'm gonna try and keep the Reaper in shadow if I can. So I'm gonna move her over here and put her in Overwatch. I don't think that one Lost who's left is gonna be able to close with Katie this turn. So even though Zebras missed again, I've got time. And I'm going to try and move Katie as close to the evac point as I can. And then shoot him. 86% chance. And she misses for some reason. Ugh, come on. That's pretty much my sentiment exactly. She's mad at herself. Which I suppose... Does that make me less mad at her? No. So my options here are I can shoot with about a 69% chance, or I can run up and use the pistol. But the pistol isn't a guaranteed kill because it doesn't do enough damage, so I'm going to take the 69% chance. And there, Zebras got it done. So I think that's all of the enemies on this map. So I'm just going to make a beeline for the exit.
For now,
Then let's not linger here. Head to the evac coordinates now.
I am trusting you.
All right. Put her in Overwatch just for argument's sake. I'm going to reload everybody's weapons before they get into the next map. I can't remember if you need to, if it happens, but like that way, where it conserves your ammo. But whatever. No reason to chance it. That, like as I said, that mission is harder than this stuff. This, as you can probably tell, this wasn't too tricky. And the Lost, even if they do manage to get a swipe on you, are low damage. I think they do 1 to 3 damage. So they're not a pretty big threat.
A momentary victory. Others are surely on the way. We must keep moving.
No argument here. Continue to the rendezvous point.
All right, and that's one half of this early bit of the mission done.
Second squad is already en route to Mox. Proceed to the rendezvous and await their arrival.
Oh, we'll be there.
All right. Alright, so
Looks like trouble ahead.
kind of a similar mission here where you have 2 of your squad members and then you're joined by a 3rd character. I guess you can watch this without me talking over it.
We may have a bigger problem here. I'm guessing that's our man. Well, our contact anyway.
Crocksod. Advent. Puppet. Voxtola. For dead. They were sent here to hunt. To purge the Drop 10. The Lost. Our meeting point is still secure. She is free of the imposter gods. I would give anything that all my kind could say the same. Even sit down with your Reapers.
Anybody recognize that voice?
We must go.
50 fun points to anybody who knows who the voice actor for that guy is.
Rendezvous with Outrider is further ahead. Proceed through this district as quickly as possible, but be careful. Something tells me this city still has a few more surprises to throw
From
out.
Transformers. I'm not sure if he was in Transformers.
Worries today. It is these Reapers.
Is it Critters? Yes, it is Critters. They, it rings a bell from somewhere, yes. You've probably heard him somewhere.
By the false gods of this world to serve and die as their
Yeah, this mission is Ymir and Tim and this character.
all that we were and more. And our prowess in battle serves us us well in our cause. In close combat, none can stand opposed to us.
Sounds like Optimus Prime. Yeah, he's got the like the mechanical effect, the robotic effect from his helmet, I think, over him. But no, it's Michael Dorn, so Worf from Star Trek, and he's done a lot of other voice acting. So I wouldn't be surprised if, even if you're not familiar with that, you've heard him in other places. This mission is more tricky than the last one because you're not fighting those mostly worthless Lost at the start. There's a squad of something else. So his character is a skirmisher, which is, again, one of the newer classes. And the skirmisher is... their gimmick is they're supposed to be more mobile. They can take 2 shots in a turn, and they have a grappling hook, which they can use as a free action to go up on anything that's high. So that can be good. I prefer the Reapers. The Reapers are... I really like what you can do with the scouting with the Reapers. It's pretty good for setting yourself up. I probably shouldn't have overwatched that before I moved Tim up. We'll see if I end up paying for it. Nope. Good. Alright. So the aliens are close. You can see from the waves that are emanating that they're there. And here he is.
My failure is my own.
Alright, so this is 2 purifiers. I'd kind of mentioned them before. Oh, that was lucky. Okay, so the purifiers are they're flamethrower units. But one of the things about them is they have a small chance, well, not a small chance, but like a moderate chance when you kill them of blowing up violently. So this squad ended up being 2 purifiers, and when I got the Overwatch shots on it, Emir hit and did a bunch of damage, and Tim finished him off, which exploded him and heavily damaged the other guy. So that was really lucky, and I mean, I don't have to tell anybody that Tim is a beast, but that's pretty much some luck for me. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the grapple ability to get up here for free. How long is this going to be on for? I'm thinking I might finish this mission and the next one and then call it, which would put me somewhere around another hour. I'm not committed. So again, he blew up.
The patrol has been liberated. May their lives not be lost in vain. We must push forward and complete our mission.
Works for me.
Okay, I'm gonna reload everybody.
I'm ready. Covering now.
But yeah, like I said, I've set the recordings to save on Twitch, so you can pretty much watch it at your leisure. I mean, it's cool to have people hanging out, and I'm grateful to people that came out. Oh, that was bad. He might blow up. If he blows up, I lose the mission. So yeah, this caught on fire, and when it did that, he fell through the truck. And it looks like he's going to be on fire no matter what I do, so that's kind of bad. But if you hunker down, you can put the fire out. So that was sort of bad. I didn't realize the fire from the purifier exploding would reach all the way to the truck. But it didn't end up costing me any health because when he hunkers down, he puts it out. Yeah, hunkering down is it's a defensive move that basically decreases your chances of being hit. So I haven't had a chance to use it so far, or I haven't had cause to. But everybody has that ability as well. I tend to not use it too often. The best defense is a good offense, and hunkering down does not guarantee you won't be hit, even if somebody takes aim at you. So it's, I don't know. I guess I like to go for the riskier plays and try to clear the aliens out. And I'm going to move Tim up here where she has a height advantage. Put her on Overwatch. And I'm going to move up.
I stand ready.
You have to be careful with vehicles that are on fire like this, because they will explode after a while. I think this thing's already exploded. I think it exploded when the purifier went. Or maybe it's going to do it this turn. But, yeah, the front of the vehicles, when they explode, will do damage to anybody who's around it in a AoE, which you can use to your advantage sometimes, and other times it'll screw you over. Because cars are usually good cover, and but if the car is shot by normal fire, it can like just normal shooting from a gun, it can catch on fire. So sometimes you take cover behind a car when it's not on fire, thinking you're okay, and then somebody takes a shot at you and misses, but it hits the car, and then the car blows up. So that can kind of suck. And another cutscene here. I think I could skip this one though. Yeah, go look on YouTube. Basically, they blew it up.
Fires may be down, but unfortunately, that was our extraction point.
I fear that is not the worst of it. Multiple biological signatures rapidly on approach to your position.
The lost. The sound of combat excite them. They are drawn to it.
And you just blew up a fuel truck?
There was no other choice. Find an alternate exit. We will deal with the lost.
Okay, so mission objectives changed. I have to make sure the special soldier doesn't die. It was the same in the other mission. But I basically have to live for 4 turns.
The mutation has somehow accelerated these dashers' metabolism, allowing enhanced speed and agility, with a corresponding increase in aggression.
Come on, Emir, get good.
Negative damage.
Tim is not in range of anything, so I'm going to put her on Overwatch. I don't want to move that close to that swarm, because that'll actually get me hit. So I'm going to move him over here, and either take a shot or go into Overwatch. I'm going to go into Overwatch, because I don't have a shot on any of them. I don't think any of them will be able to close in on Emir, but if they do, tough for him for missing. I hope he burns in hell. He's the one with the med kit anyways, though. I'm weirded out. Okay, I was going to say, I don't know why Tim didn't take any of her Overwatch shots there.
I'm hit.
The shockwave of that explosion reverberated.
Alright, 91% chance, so we're going to try and clear this guy out first.
Significant reaction from the lost.
The only reaction I will accept from them is their deaths. Find us that exit.
And again, I'm going to... Because you get actions refunded here, I'm going to go around taking all the easy shots first, and then I'm going to regroup and figure out what I'm going to do from there. So all the guys that are close enough to immediately wail on my troops are dead now. So, I need to figure out what to do next. And I think I'm going to hold my ground here, because if you move, you won't be able to reload. So I'm going to hope Emir gets his shit together and is able to make some supposedly easy shots. And he does, so that's good. He does need to reload, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to save his medkit because he only took 1 damage. And I'm going to take a shot at the weaker of these 2, I think. Do I want to do that? I forget what the damage is on his weapon. Let's go with this. Actually, I don't know if you get the actions refunded from using Justice. I guess there's one way to find out. So this is one of his abilities, is that he uses his grappling hook to pull somebody, and then he whacks them. And I'm going to do that for this particular guy because he had 4 health, and I wanted to be sure that he'd drop. It looks like I didn't get my action back from that, so I guess it has to be a gunshot. So I'll reload his weapon, and then he'll be done. And hope I can get this guy taken care of between Emir and Tim. What did you miss? Basically, I'm surrounded by zombies, and I'm trying to survive for enough turns to have an alternate evacuation point opened up. Okay, so Emir cleared everything out. Tim has her advantage up here. And I'm going to try and get some shots on these guys.
Kill confirmed.
And she misses with 88% chance, which will happen. I mean, when you're making that many shots, it's kind of an inevitability that you're going to miss one, even though they're supposedly easy shots.
Understood. Holding position.
And I do want to move Tim away from here, because they're kind of converging on her, and I want to get her closer to the rest of the squad. They can climb, so.
Target down. Guns dry.
Okay, she needs to reload. Yeah, I don't want it to be forgotten that that Fraggle is the official first follower of this stream, and obviously I owe whatever success comes of this stream exclusively to her and the support that she's shown, and the rest of you are obviously, you know, less than nothing. Okay, he's hiding. There's another. I know there's another guy. He's hiding around here somewhere. So I'm just going to reload my guns, get everybody closer, and go into Overwatch so that when he pops out, I'm going to get my shots at him anyways. Right now, I think there's only one guy on the map, but more of them can spawn pretty quickly, so. Yeah, see, he'd already climbed up on that shipping container to try and get at Tim. And they both managed to miss, which is not the greatest. So he may actually wail on her. Oh, no.
Just need another minute.
You have your minute.
Tim gets it done.
Back in.
Alright, I don't have anybody around, so I'm going to reload everything and get everybody close to each other. This is the last turn. I need to survive. So I'm just going to get everybody grouped up together, and then they should be giving me an evac point that I'm supposed to move everybody to after the end of this turn. Spoilers. We'll put everybody on Overwatch so that if anybody pops out, I can get a shot at them.
Meetings are all over the place. The Lost are almost right on top of you. These Lost seem to be pretty sensitive to noise. The sounds of combat are likely to draw even more of them. We found a new route that should get you to the rendezvous point safely. The Lost are still converging on the area, so make it fast.
That will not be a problem.
All right, so we are going to. We're going to lead with this guy, the skirmisher, to see if there's anything between us and that evac point. It doesn't look like there is, but I'm going to put everybody on Overwatch anyways. I have been keeping people in cover because it's just generally good practice. But against the Lost, it doesn't actually matter because they always just run up to you and try to wail on you anyways. So I'm going to break out of cover here and not worry about that too much. That was a lot of them.
Their casualties grow.
Kill confirmed.
Hostile neutralized.
And I think if everybody can get to that evac point, yeah, I'm not going to dick around shooting at these guys. I'm just going to get out of here. Because if somebody misses, their turn ends, and they're going to be stuck with that entire group. So I could finish the mission now, and I just will.
Outrider and the first team should be waiting for you ahead. I know this wasn't the easiest stuff, but I have to believe it'll still be worth it in the end.
That depends on the Reapers.
Yeah, if I was further away from the evac point, I would have fought that out a little bit more and whittled them down. And I had nicely loaded weapons, and the skirmisher does get an extra shot if he needs it. So it probably would have looked better by the time it rolled around to my turn. But I didn't have to do that because I was close enough to the evac, so I just ran.
And play nice today, people.
I'm not sure if I can skip this one. I can.
Your Reapers face a being such as this.
They appeared without warning years ago.
Okay, so this is the part of the mission that's hard. What happens is, in the expansion, there's these characters called the Chosen, which are like basically the toughest aliens in the game, and they randomly spawn in some of the missions and basically give you a hard time. So in this map, one of the Chosen, the assassin, shows up and tries to wreck your day, and she can be a pain. So I'm going to get everybody into positions, but probably she's going to get a free swipe on somebody because she's very mobile and I think immune to Overwatch shots, which means I basically can't do anything on the first turn. I just have to wait until I see where she is and go from there.
Moving to designated position.
Yeah, but they are
Moving to Overwatch.
tougher enemies with a lot of special abilities. And you'll probably see some of them when it goes on their turn. Are we going to see a death? Maybe. This would be where somebody dies. This is the hard part. And I put everybody on Overwatch, even though it's mostly useless. Okay, so here is the assassin. So what you have here, and I'm going to go over this in a little bit of detail because she's a recurring element in the game. They spawn with random abilities and random weaknesses. And then as the game goes on, they're added to. The weaknesses will stay the same, but the strengths can go up to, I believe, 5 different strengths. So her first strength is that she's immune to melee damage, which suits me right now because I didn't bring the guy with the sword, so it doesn't matter at all. Her other ability is Shadow Step. She doesn't trigger Overwatch or Reaction Fire. So she can basically, on her turn, just run around and do whatever the hell she wants, and I can't do anything about it. Her weaknesses are that she takes increased damage from Reapers, and she's easier to target from high ground. So depending on what she does in this mission, that might be to my benefit. It kind of depends where she goes. Each chosen, there's 3 of them, is weak against one of the 3 new classes. So there's Skirmishers, Reapers, and Templars, and there's an Assassin, a Hunter, and a Warlock. And it's kind of, each one of them is weak against one. So this one's weak against the Reapers, which means the Hunter and the Warlock will be weak against either the Skirmisher or the Templar. I think she's fudged to always be weak against the Reapers, but I could be wrong. So her whole thing is basically being impossible to see. She runs around like a maniac, and you can't figure out where she is. She has her own special version of concealment. So I'm going to move people down to ground level and see if I can spot her. And if I can, I'm going to try and shoot the hell out of her before she gets to do anything, because her attacks are pretty brutal. So... Nothing there. I'll leave Zebras up there.
Rolling.
I will reposition.
The Assassin is weak against the Reapers, so I'm going to try and put the Reapers somewhere central where she can theoretically move wherever she might be needed. But I didn't spot her this turn, so kind of spread out everybody a little bit because she has some attacks that are area of effect. And then I'm just going to go into Overwatch, even though it's useless, because I like doing things that are useless. I'm not a smart kid. I can't remember if there's other aliens on this map, so might as well Overwatch. All right, so she was cloaked over there. She kind of runs up, and she immediately slices Emir in the face and dazes him.
Consider yourself lucky. Most would not survive such a strike.
We are known to them.
Okay, and then she's run away. And she also spotted the Reaper.
At one time, your people fought honorably.
Okay.
Now you scurry in the shadows like rodents.
It looks like the Chosen knocked one of our soldiers into a daze.
Now, the daze is an effect where...
Before that thing can move in and attack.
let's try and blow this up here. I think she's over here. The daze is an effect where he will not get actions anymore, and if I don't wake him up basically this turn, what will happen is she'll be able to kidnap him and then interrogate him for information, which is bad for a lot of reasons. So basically this turn I need to move somebody beside Emir to wake him up. Otherwise he's going to be useless piece of garbage. So I'm going to have this character do it, I think. So it is a free action to wake people up. And the reason... Things that make you say, The corner of that building I don't think is going to blow up easily, which is unfortunate because that's a... who she partners with. Maybe I get lucky. Let's try this. So one of the benefits of having people be bond mates is that they can use this action to grant their bond mate an action. So basically Zebras cheers on Katie, and Katie is able to blow up the Chosen again. And I'm hoping blow up this pillar, but it doesn't look like it's terribly likely. So instead I'm just going to go here, get some free damage on her, and I'm also going to blow up that car. Yeah, that pillar's still up, which is unfortunate. She picked a good thing to take cover behind.
A deadly trap.
Okay, so here's one of the Reaper's abilities, is to launch a little claymore. The claymore explodes when somebody shoots it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do Shadow to go back into concealment, and then I'm going to shoot... Oh, that's unlucky. She can't see the claymore to shoot it. That's a fuck up. Alright, so here's what I'm going to do instead.
Utilizing hook.
I'm going to see if he can. He cannot. Zebras can with her pistol, so let's do that. Alright, and because the Reapers are her adversary and she's weak against them, that does some bonus damage. Roast people. Oh, I think she doesn't fight until she's dead. She runs away before she dies. So actually that was enough to do it. So that's good.
Meaning that thing just rang the dinner bell for every...
Actually, you didn't shoot anybody. You shot a little mine. Yeah, you shot a mine, and the mine blew up and got rid of the Chosen. But you sort of saved the day. It was kind of a team effort between you, Katie, and the Reaper.
Firebrands en route to the evac coordinates now. Get moving.
So that was the hard part, actually, and nobody died. Ymir just got kind of messed up. Now I just have to deal with a bunch of these lost guys again. But they're a lot easier than they were on the other parts of this map because I now have 6 people, which is pretty good. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do, Ymir has one action because he's waking up from being dazed, is I'm going to have him heal himself with his little medical robot. So that if somebody wails on him later, I don't have to worry about him maybe dying. I'm not going to move anybody up because I've used a lot of actions already this turn, so I'm going to overwatch and kind of let them come to me. With the exception of the Reaper, because I put her back into concealment. I'll move her up to get a better look. I can't remember if there's non-lost enemies still on this map. If there are, it can be tougher. If I'm last one standing, can you absolve me of my debt and buy me my 20th city? I don't know what debt you have, but I'm not buying you jack shit until you start heading things again, you jerk. And the game seems to be freaking out over this guy running at nothing. I was looking at the chat, but I guess all my Overwatch shots missed. Okay, and maybe I shouldn't have set that car on fire, because now I have to worry about the sound from it blowing up, attracting more Lost. But, not too big a deal, because, like I said, it's a lot easier when you have 6 people. $600 million. Oh, it's too bad. If you'd said 500, I would have bought it.
Position confirmed.
They happen to run by the Reaper again and notice it, so she's out of concealment, and I can't get her back in. I don't have any of the abilities I might be able to do that, so I have kind of no spotter. But again, six people. This mission is pretty much a cakewalk to get everybody out once you get past the Chosen showing up and maybe wrecking your day.
I am trusting you. I won't let them pass.
Which may mean I'm finishing this stream without any deaths, which is disappointing. But I don't want to fudge it and, you know, play less well than I can, and I definitely had a lot of luck. That first mission, somebody should have died. That was bad. It was bad when I triggered all 6 of those guys at once. Or was it 6? I think it was.
Hostile neutralized. Running dry on ammo. Affirmative. Covering now.
So far, the hero, I think, is sort of Katie, but probably Tim. Tim blowing up that purifier, and then that explosion blowing up another purifier was pretty much the best play. Please play Hard Time next time. Hard Time is a great game. Yeah, I might do that. I might have to. I don't know if anybody's familiar with Hard Time, but it is an excellent game. Yeah, some of these are regular Lost, and some of these are Lost Dashers. The Dashers have more of a movement range, so they're kind of more of a threat. There's another kind, I can't remember if they're called like Brutes or something, but they're a little bit stronger in terms of amount of hit points, and it can be pretty hard to kill them in one shot. I don't really need to bother with cover. That's actually the first time she's really done anything, because this entire time I've been using her for scouting and not wanting to shoot. When you shoot, it has an increasing chance to break her out of her special Reaper concealment. So I tend to avoid making shots with the Reaper until last, because you have the ability where you can go back into concealment, but past that, once you're out, you're out. Wow, a new city did nothing for my income. It wouldn't, if you think about it. When you have if you're getting a 20th city, then all it's going to be less than 5% of your overall income. So it's, you know, it's hard to find a loan that's low enough that that's actually worth it. Which I guess you're figuring out.
Location confirmed.
Dark Solars would be fun too. You just want me to play games where I will lose and it's embarrassing.
Cover me, I'm reloading.
Are you implying your bank does not trust Zebras? Wow. Wow. I mean, I know she can't really shoot a gun, but... Exactly. Who knew an 18th wasn't much? Precisely. Evidently not Zebras.
I did not exist when this city stood whole. Still, I feel revulsion at what happened to this place, to these people.
I believe you.
Okay, so my evacuation point is over here. I think I'll probably go this way and kind of go around from there.
I go where I am needed.
Oh, hello. 100% chance. The only issue here is that the thing has 4 health, so he might not die. If he doesn't die, then I'm in trouble. So that's no good. So I'll definitely need somebody to follow that up, or I'm gonna have a bad time. Is anybody able to move that far? I'll have to use the grappling hook to get it a little bit more speed.
As you command.
For some reason, he can't see this guy. which is pretty freaking strange, actually. What the hell is that? That seems a little glitchy, actually. Because I've got the marker on a... Yeah, whatever. Whatever. I'll just shoot at some of these.
We deny our creators. Their casualties were my weapon is nearly empty.
Still, if he's there and he has Overwatch, there's a pretty good chance he'll get a free shot anyways. It looks like Zebra's has a 75% chance and can see him, so we'll see how she does. There you go. Zebras, I take it all back. You're a good person. I just want you to know that my opinion of you as a human being hinges on what a simulated version of you is able to not do or do on a minute-to-minute basis. So, if your fake you doesn't perform, then you have no worth.
Closing on target position now. Affirmative. Covering now.
I'm just going to move everybody up. I know there's one or two that are still alive over there. So,
Moving to Overwatch.
Orders confirmed. On the move.
I'm going to move people up, make sure their weapons are loaded, and put them into Overwatch so I at least get a shot when they move. At this point, they'd have to really, really surround me to get enough shots that you've really threatened somebody. But yeah.
Target's still up.
Yeah, you can see there's a lot of them. They show up in swarms. The Overwatch shots don't refund actions in the same way, so they're really not the most. But it's something, so you might as well.
Kill confirmed.
Nailed him.
Yeah, there's Tim holding it down.
There will come a day when my people take back this place for our own.
Katie needs to reload, so I'm going to start with her. When I reload, I can't move her in the same turn, because that's one half of her action. So she's kind of stuck in place, so I'm going to start with her, and the most accurate shot she can get. And she misses.
Adjusting sight.
Because I have enough people that I can probably get things sorted out anyways.
Heading out. Target neutralized.
Reloading.
I got a lot better chance with Justice, and I don't think I'll need it again. So I'm just going to go with that. Probably should have done that before I took the shot with Amir. Because he ended up doing 3 damage and not being able to kill it, and that ended his turn. But shit happens. You miss again, Zebras.
Come on.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about Zebras. Your worth as a human being is fading again.
Remember, they are not. My ammunition is almost gone.
Oof. Missing a 93. That's not very good.
Shouldn't happen.
That shouldn't happen. Yeah, pretty much. And I'm in the awkward position of having to send somebody up to help clear those zombies out when really she deserves to get wailed on and killed. But I think it might be... Yeah, it's actually a mission objective to keep that particular person alive, so I guess I can't let her die even though she deserves it. Tim's still holding it down. I don't think she's missed a single time.
Ammo's running low. Got it covered.
Yeah, and I shouldn't have said that.
That is not good.
like that sound. That's a good sound. Thwack.
Converging near the evacuation coordinates. I advise caution. It would seem the Lost are on to our strategy.
It is the Elder's will that this alliance. It will take more than mere lost for that to happen.
The only fate possible for little ammo remaining.
Alright. And I think I might just bounce all the way up to this little alley here.
I will reposition.
And use that to get across to the extraction point. So it's really just a matter of getting there with everybody. Oh, come on. Now he's stuck there because he missed. Which is going to slow me down because I don't want to leave him behind. This guy gets 2 shots though, so if he misses, his turn doesn't end. Which can be pretty useful. So. I gotta move him up to cover Emir, who can't move. And I'll go Overwatch here. Zebras, I'm gonna have bust a move closer to the extraction point so she can kind of cover everybody else. That's kind of what snipers are good for. Katie's still here. I'm gonna have her move over here too.
Double time. Position confirmed.
And another one is spawned like right out between me and where I'm trying to go. Well, that guy did have some stylish looking jeans, so good for him.
Firebrand's in position, but the evac zone's even hotter than we thought. Running out of time here, people.
Hammer to hold as long as you can. We will be there.
Enemy destroyed. Weapons burning ammo fast.
89's a pretty good chance. I'm gonna take this shot.
No compromises. I have no more rounds. Loading fresh ammo.
I'm gonna see, because she's in a good position already, I'll have her kind of take out as many of these guys as she can, and then I'll move other people up. Because her position, I don't really need to move her up relative to everybody else. Everybody else is behind.
Who can give me a resupply?
And I'm gonna reload her weapon rather than Overwatch. Emir needs to reload his gun. And I'm gonna move him up.
Headed there now.
I'm on the move.
Put him in Overwatch for this guy that I know is over here. Not too sure what to do with this guy. I think I'll move him here. If he really gets in trouble, I can grappling hook him away. So I'm going to reload. And then I'll just have Zebras kind of run out here and cover with her pistol. This will be a good vantage point for her with her sniper rifle. She'll be able to take out anybody in this little alley. So we're pretty close to getting sorted here. Everybody's in Overwatch.
Scanning.
There you go.
Target neutralized.
And Zebras is a good person again.
Biomass converging upon this position is staggering.
How long has this war been going on for? That's a good question. So the story of this game, this is XCOM 2. And XCOM 1 is the aliens invade and you try and organize a resistance to the alien invasion. And the canon ending of the game, it might just be Detroit. Yeah, it's just present-day Detroit, full of zombies and graffiti and just literal shit. But no, the canon ending to the first game is that you lose. So by the time the second game comes around, humanity has already been driven underground and is like making a really feeble resistance effort rather than a proper coordinated government-led attempt to repel them. The government's completely collapsed, and it's like a puppet state that's around the aliens. So the aliens have installed a puppet state with this speaker who's like this sort of human clone dude. and he's basically a mouthpiece for what the aliens are trying to say. So the aliens are basically saying, we did take over, but we're your friends. We're going to give you a bunch of genetic engineering because we love you. So all you got to do is not fight us, and everything will be great. And I don't know that the public believes that per se, but they don't have a hell of a lot of incentive to fight against way superior force when they can just not. So humanity's kind of like occupied, and all of their political systems at this point are been supplanted by the aliens. And your squad is made up of the original organization, SpaceCOM, that was supposed to repel the invasion and just fucked it up and failed. So they kind of went underground and became like resistance fighters. Yeah, and they kind of became resistance fighters and tried to like take shots at the aliens where they could, but really all they did was they have a repurposed alien ship called the Avenger, which is your base in this, and they were trying to free the commander, which is your player character. So your player character gets saved right at the start of the game, and that's what's kind of the catalyst for you putting up another attempt at defending humanity. I've been skipping cutscenes, but like I assume anybody who's particularly interested in this stuff can look them up and read up about it. I mean, go look at a Wikipedia page, you piece of garbage. But at the same time, not much is happening right now aside from me walking down a hallway and occasionally shooting zombies. So it's a good time for me to blab. Sure is miss around here. All right. Right now I'm going to check and see if everybody can get into the evacuation zone, because if they can, then the mission's basically over, and I think they can. So.
As you order, Commander.
Getting it done.
Evacuating is a free move, so if you're within this little thing, you can leave, even if you have to use up all your actions to get there. It says I'm missing a person, but I guess that's not true. Alright. And I'm going to let you guys watch this cutscene because I got to take another break, so I'll be back.
Outrider to Avenger, where the hell's our exit? This is as low as I can get her.
No! I do not intend to die this day. I will follow. Foxtrot 410.
Time to return home, traitor.
It was no easy task, but we managed to get the Reapers and the Skirmishers to cooperate for once. That in itself is an accomplishment.
Okay, and we're back, and literally everybody got a promotion, so that's good. So, as you probably I saw in the cutscene, that one character, the skirmisher, he gets kidnapped, and so now the Chosen is going to interrogate him until I get him back. So it's an incentive to finish that mission very quickly.
The resistance factions take a more
So, when you're upgrading the Reaper, it's a little bit different. They use a pool of ability points rather than getting fixed upgrades. So basically, it's the same. It ends up being the same early on, but later on, it ends up being a little bit different because you can take two. You can take this. You can take. You can save up points and get a certain number within a certain bracket if you want. The choices right now are Blood Trail or Remote Start. Blood Trail is if you can deal an extra damage if the target's been wounded this turn. Remote Start is basically something that can be exploded in the environment. She'll explode it without revealing. I find that a lot more useful. If a pod happens to wander beside a car, you can one-shot them and still be hiding, which is pretty awesome. So I'm going to take Remote Start. And we're going to see what happened with Tim. Tim ends up being a sharpshooter, which is kind of unfortunate. Like I said, I really don't like this class too much. So that kind of sucks. The point of taking a rookie was to try and get another Grenadier or another Ranger, and unfortunately that didn't work. Emir is gravely wounded, but he did pick up a promotion, so I'm going to pick up Haywire Protocol. That allows him to basically hack enemy robots and screw them up. Xeris can pick up Long Watch, which lets her do Overwatch shots in squad sight range rather than her own visual range. So as long as somebody can see it, if she goes into Overwatch and has line of sight, she can shoot it from like clear across the map, which is a pretty cool ability. And for Katie, I'm going to pick up Shredder. Shredder lets you take away armor, which enemies will have pretty soon. You'll start seeing a lot of enemies with armor, which is a pain in the ass. So it's good to be able to get rid of that. Alright, so I got my scientist and I got my intelligence. It says here that Mox is captured, so I have to try and find a mission to do that. So what I want to do is take this empty area and I want to build the resistance ring. The resistance ring is it's like a coordination point for some of the new things that are in the game. So you launch like special missions there that you can send people on to do different kinds of objectives, and it's one of the ways you can get just miscellaneous rewards that you can use to kind of push back against the random number generation and something, and you're seeing in other places in the game. Like you find yourself low on scientists, you can pick one up. You see yourself lower on engineers, you can try and pick one up, and kind of direct your resistance towards where you have gaps from luck. So right now I'd be trying to push for engineers because I have 2 scientists but only 1 engineer, and you need engineers for basically everything. Like if I had more engineers, I could make the resistance ring twice as fast, which would give me a pretty good advantage there. So I'm going to look over my soldiers and just kind of see what I got here, and give you a little explanation of some of the stuff that's going on this screen. But I think that'll be the last mission for today. So I'm also going to take the chance to talk about what I'm going to be doing with the stream, ideally, and how I kind of want to structure it from this point forward, because this was a bit of a trial run. I'm happy it worked out because I haven't done a stream before, so it's kind of cool that I was able to do it, and people showed up, and the audio, there weren't any trouble with Twitch or any of that stuff, so that I'm pretty content about. So you'll see here, Emir is gravely wounded, and it also has this little icon here where it says 16 out of 48 for his will. In this version of the game, there is fatigue, so even if your soldiers don't get injured, they will still get tired, and if you send them out when they're tired, you can see Katie right now is tired. It says tired and also available. I can still send Katie on missions while she's tired, but if I do, she is more likely to freak out when she's fired on, or when somebody gets killed, or when she's targeted by psionics, and also she's more likely to come back to the Avenger and have like weird PTSD effects that are like randomized. So she'll come back and like all of a sudden she'll be like deathly afraid of sectoids, and then for the rest of the game, or until I use the infirmary to give her like some cognitive therapy, it's kind of funny how that works, she'll be afraid of sectoids, and it'll be a pain in the ass. So it's generally, unless you really have to, you don't want to send people who are tired out on missions. My character, you'll see, is 47 out of 48, so he'll be ready to go for the next one. Zebras is for some reason not nearly as tired as anybody else, even though she's been out on more missions. I don't know what that's about. Katie is super tired. So this is the new character I got, the Reaper. And I think what I'll do right now is I will make this character into a Fraggle. because Fraggle is the first person in the stream. The first person. So everybody else can just like get right the hell out. They suck compared to Fraggle. She was the first person. First person. Did you hear me? I said first person. So the customization is a little bit more limited on the Reapers because they're a specialty class. But let's see what we can do with this. I'm gonna call Fraggle Rock. Oh, there's no nickname. She's stuck with the nickname Outrider. That's kind of lame. Screw that. I'll just leave her as what she was. I don't think, yeah, I don't want to say Fraggle be an Outrider. That doesn't make any sense. So I guess I'll just leave her as she is. Never mind. So some of the other things you can get into in this, there are the bonds, and basically you saw those when Zebras was able to give Katie an extra action to blow up the Chosen again. That's one of the benefits of the bond. That's the first level bond. It kind of levels up as you go. What happens here is each squad member has compatibility with every other squad member that's like randomized. So you can see here, Katie hates Luke and loves both Zebras and this random Peter Vizier guy. So once somebody gets to the first level worth of cohesion, you can designate them as bond mates, and they'll have those abilities whenever they're paired together. So Katie and Zebras are already paired, so they're benefiting from this high compatibility. So whenever I send them on a mission, they'll get more compatibility, and the bond will level up from 1, 2, and level 3, which has different effects. Right now, the effect is that I can use that ability to grant... one of them can grant the other one an action by using an action. So it's not game-changing, but it can be useful. And I mean, you saw it be useful there because the Chosen was hidden behind a pillar. I couldn't get a shot off with a gun, so I just launched 2 grenades at the damn thing. So it can be useful. And that's an ability they'll have for as long as both of them are on the mission and both of them are alive. I think they're more likely now to freak out if the other one gets killed. So if they're both on the mission, and let's say Katie dies, Zebras will go into some kind of like horrible blood rage and try to take on all the aliens herself, and then probably develop PTSD. So that's kind of fun. Oh, you can do photos. I didn't even know that. Oh, that's Katie's pissed off. Who do we want a photo of? Somebody, the first person I see who asks for a photo of a character, I'll take a photo of that character and kind of dick around with the photo booth. But in the meantime, some of the mods I have on are displaying more of the things here. So you can see their aim, which is their percentage chance to hit as a base. You can see their will, which is like a chance of being resistant to the psionic effects of something like the sectoid. Overall health, mobility, which is how many squares they can move, hacking ability, which is really only matters on specialists, but at least it displays here. Dodge, which is 0, but there's certain things that can boost it. So dodge is basically you have a chance when you get hit to dodge it partially, and when that happens, you take less damage. This little thing here is showing the number of ability points. Later on in the game, you can build a place that will let you spend ability points to get abilities for those characters that are outside of their normal tech tree, or within their tech tree, but not the one you pick. You usually have to pick between one or the other, but you can override that with ability points, but you have a limited pool of them. The color of this icon is something that I have as a result of a mod, which is showing how intelligent people are. So the red people are the dumbest. Emir and W are dumb. They are just plain dumb. Well, they're the dumbest, which is standard. And this one standard is the worst. Katie and Zebras and the Reaper, Luke, and Critters and Black Rook are all above average, which is the next tier. Tim, Lene, and myself are all gifted, which is the next tier. And there's 5 tiers. I have 2 rookies who I haven't named, who are geniuses, which is higher than gifted, and then there's also savants. I'm not sure it can ever randomly get a savant. I haven't yet, but you can do a mission later that will train people to move up to the next highest level. So you take some people that have potential, and you can build them up to the next level. So what I think I might do is take the better of these 2 and Genius Rookies, this is rookie Cameron Watson, and I'm going to customize this to be my Fraggle instead. So, can I change it? Yeah, I can make it into a chick. So let's do that. First name, Fraggle. Second name. I don't know if anybody's paying attention anymore because nobody said anything about the posters they wanted. Well, whatever, I just won't do any posters, you jerks. Fraggle Rock. Okay. She's too low to have a call sign, so I'll have to add that in later and I'll think of something else. Let's make... I think Fraggle's twitchy, that sounds about right. Nationality, United States, that's fine. I'm going to change their biography to... There we go. Now let's see what kind of horrible monstrosity we can make this character into. What is the worst face? Bearing in mind that... there's a chunky looking lady. Bearing in mind that... I think I'm going to go with this. That Fraggle is a Muppet. I shouldn't say puppet. I'm going to try and make her look as ridiculous as possible. And probably give her a bunch of fair face paint. So let's give her a green mohawk, because that's pretty dumb looking. I don't want that. Jesus, those are some stupid looking glasses. Let's go with those. And let's go with... Which ones of these look particularly Muppety? None of them really, so let's go with Clown. Kabuki paint. That's... Yeah, that's good looking. That's what we want to see. Right there. And some scars. Let's... Yeah, why not let's mark up our Fraggle a little bit. And body. Let's see. Liking this green motif. I'm not sure. I have a lot of green soldiers, so let's go with that. But she's also a clown, so let's put a dumb color in here. Something bright yellow. Armor pattern. Oh, that looks fucking awful. Let's go with that. And arms. Yeah. I want to have the most possible surface area for this excellent, ridiculous-looking pattern she has. So we're gonna leave her with her arms on. Torso.
Advance officers might be more resourceful.
No, I like what she had before, and I don't know how to change it back.
Our forces will have any trouble bringing in a test subject for time
There,
to look
like that.
at, especially since
Legs.
he's not asking for a live one. There's not a whole lot that surprises me these days.
I guess I could put her in hot pants for no goddamn reason. And there's no point in having tattoos because they're covered up by her arms. So that's mostly good. I think all I gotta do now is put her weapon. Let's make her weapon yellow, like her dumb shirt. And we'll put the same pattern on it, digital. There, that's our Fraggle. Look at that. That's... Wow. 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 Good looking stuff. So, what I want to do for this stream, I'm thinking I don't really need to, or I don't want to adhere to any kind of specific schedule for the rest of it. What I would like to do is I'd like to figure out, have people call in and have guest hosts now that I have a better idea of how to stream it. So if you're interested in popping on a stream and just chilling out while I do this and distracting me from doing as well as I did this mission this mission where nobody got killed, just get in touch. I've had some people who are already going to do that. And we'll find a time when we both feel like doing it, and we'll just say, hey, we're going to do a stream in 30 minutes, and then we'll just do that shit up. I'm assuming... I don't see the point in having a regular time and trying to adhere to it, because my schedule is all over the place. And also, I mean, I'm recording these sessions anyways, so people, if they want to catch up, can. With that said, though, I'm really, really grateful that people showed up to listen to this one. That was cool, and I'm glad, I'm really, really happy everybody showed up. That was cool, and it was good having a chance to hang out. And I hope this wasn't too boring. If you have any constructive criticism or anything like that, or anything you want to see, just get in touch. Maybe I'll do it, maybe I won't, but I won't begrudge somebody giving me a piece of advice. But I hope this was at least somewhat entertaining, and those of you that are watching the stream got something out of it. So I think for now, are all of my engineers busy? And I'm researching something? Yeah. I think I'm going to call it here, and this is where I'll pick up for the next one. I will stay terrible. I think that's the easier option because it plays to my strength, which is being bad. So I think I'm gonna murder the stream right now. And if anybody wants to get in touch about something later, please do. Okay, so thanks a lot, guys, and I'll talk to you next time we have a stream up.